Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to start this Monday morning with you. This last weekend in church, we zoomed in on 1 Corinthians 13:7. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And in the sermon, Renee talked about the gap between expectation and behavior, and what do we fill that gap with? Do we assume the best about the other person and fill the gap with those thoughts, or do we assume the worst? And I've been thinking about that. And you know, what's funny to me is I think mostly with people, I will work to assume the best. For instance, if somebody, cuts me off on the road, I try to assume they just didn't see me, or they're in a hurry, they need to get someplace really quickly. I grasp for anything that isn't, that person did that to me on purpose. And I try not to fill the gap by making them the enemy. But you know where I sometimes struggle to assume the best? And this may surprise you. It's with God. There are times when I do not understand what he is up to, why life is going in the direction it is, and I had hoped that something would happen and it isn't. And instead of filling the gap with trust in God's ways and God's timing, I can be tempted to think, God doesn't care. God's not answering this prayer for me. God doesn't think I deserve this. And I completely fill the gap with bad assumptions about God. And I don't know why. Honestly, I have seen God's faithfulness for decades in my life now. But there are some moments when things feel sideways. I see the gap and I falter. I forget who God really is. And I forget verses like Zephaniah 3:17 that assure me God takes great delight in me, in you. He will calm all your fears. He will rejoice over you with joyful songs. I forget promises like Psalm 116:5. The Lord is gracious and righteous. Our God is full of compassion. God is full of compassion for me and for you. When I don't understand God's ways or God's timing, these are the truths that I need to fill that gap with. Truths that point me to God's character and remind me of his love for me. And I wonder if there's an area of your life that you're struggling to assume the best of God, the best of his ways and his timing for your life or the life of someone you love. Soak in these words of encouragement this morning. Use these truths to fill the gap today. Lamentations 3 says, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, I fill the gap with, the Lord is my portion. Therefore, I will wait for him. Wait for him. Fill the gap with reminders that God has great love for you. He has compassion on you. He is faithful to you, even in the wait. So we can wait. We can choose to fill the gap with truth and trust in God. I hope your day goes well and that you have a great week. I'll see you at church.